What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called Lone Ruin. This is an isometric top-down 3D background with 2D sprites dancing around on top of it, roguelike, where you have to dive deep on down into a vaporwave dungeon and annihilate a ton of monsters while collecting random Binding of Isaac-style items and relics to make yourself absurdly overpowered. The game is not out yet, but it will be out very, very shortly after this video is released. So I'll have a link for you down below in the description, just in case you wanted to check that out. On top of that, I'll be giving you my thoughts as we dive into 30 minutes of this game. I've played for about 2 hours prior to the recording of this, and I do have some thoughts about it, but luckily most of them are positive with some caveats. So anyways, also while you're down there in the description, you can take a look and find my Discord and my Twitch stream in case you wanted to talk to me live. But let's go ahead and play the game. We're going to dive straight on in because this is actually a fairly straightforward episode. What you get on the tin is what the game is. So let's play. So as you've noticed, this game has very high fidelity art. This is a really, really good looking game. Controls with the W, A, S, and D, and in this beginning lobby, we're basically going to pick an attack spell that we're going to lean on for the rest of the game. For each run, you're going to have the access to 3 weapons and a dash, and so there's my dash right there. The dash has a reasonably low cooldown. You should be able to rely on it, and if you're not sure when it's coming back up, everything in the game has a pop-up above your head if you try to fire it off when your cooldown is actively charging. Let's talk to this guy, but first, I'm going to poke him with my arm. There we go. Poke, 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 poke. Hey, buddy. Poke, 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 poke. Can I have a spell? Poke. Like, yeah, all you got to do is hit the E button. I don't understand why you're making this so difficult. There's a bunch of spells you can play around with. I've used most of them. This game did have a demo that came out back during one of the Steam festivals, and I recorded an episode on it back then, but it was for the survival mode because the main campaign mode of the game was not in the demo. And so anyways, since it was so close in proximity to the final release, I ultimately decided to kind of lean back on it and just wait for the game to come out. Your spell selections are Shards. It's a machine gun. It goes ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You've got Barrage. Basically, that allows you to charge up and do kind of like, you know, like in Dragon Ball Z when they're like, and they throw a whole bunch of key blasts. Kind of like that, but you got to charge it up first. There's Scythe, just in case you like fighting in melee. There's a Railgun. There's a Boomerang, which is actually a pretty skill-based weapon. Basically, you click to throw it, and it stays in place, and it'll deal damage in place, and then you can pull it back whenever you want it to come back. Kind of an interesting little weapon. There's Chain Lightning, which is new. They just added that to the game, so that's one of the few attacks I haven't seen yet. There's a Fireball. It is exactly what it sounds like. And then there's a Pulse, which is basically a burst fire machine gun. We're going to try out the Chain Lightning, just because I haven't used it yet. I do have the damage numbers turned on right now so that you can see what's going on with it. If you don't like the weapon that you've selected, at any time you can talk to this guy again, and he will give you a different spell. So you're free to try everything else out here in the lobby that you might possibly want to. When you decide to go into the dungeon, you're going to have options. It's going to tell you on the door what you get. And when you're a new player, that's not going to be super readily apparent, so it'll light up when you get close enough. Over here, we're going to get a bunch of free relics. So I think I'm going to take the free relics. That right there is just money, which we can spend at shops, but like relics are forever. They last for the rest of the run. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those. One thing about this game, it's very, very short. I beat this game on my second attempt on normal difficulty, and the game doesn't seem to have any meta progression or anything else like that inside of it. You just play the game for the fun of playing the game and make builds that are going to bust through everything. I would recommend that they add some kind of meta progressive element or some kind of ascension mode, because I sat down and I beat the game on my second run, and I think my playtime clocked in at 40 minutes. When I beat the game for the first time. And that is a little tiny bit short in duration, depending on, you know, whether or not you self-motivate to make powerful builds or not, or whether you like the meta-progressive buying upgrades in between rounds option. For people that are kind of like in the latter category, this game may not have a huge amount of longevity to it, but for people that just like to play the game and see what ridiculous builds they can come up with, I can see you maybe doing like 4 or 5 runs. But anyways, the first thing I noticed about this game is that it has a very, very cogent art style. This is a game that's very good looking. Now, I've always been kind of a sloppy sucker for 3D backgrounds with 2D on top ever since the first time I played like Star Ocean 2 or Grandia. I've always felt that that's a really, really good art style. Like, I like it a lot, just aesthetically. And so anyways, everything in this game is uber tight when it comes to the visuals and the sound effects. All of the attacks sound and feel really, really good. The only thing that I would improve on the sound effect front is, like, I'd like it if the enemies, like, screeched or made some kind of vocal validation when they die. You do get, like, a little poof and an explosion, but, like, little, like, you know, like monster noises would be pretty cool. The 3 relics we got the golden shield. I'm going to pass on that one. That makes us lose money whenever we get hit, but it mitigates damage. That basically guarantees that you're going to be poor for the rest of your run if you're bad at the game. And I'm bad at the game, so I'm just going to walk away. We've got Banker right here. This gives us free money every time we enter a room based on a percentage amount of what we've got inside of our inventory, so basically interest rates. And the beef heart allows us to get more HP. So there you go. It added another heart. Very, very nice. You do have a limit on how many of these relics you can take. As you can see, we've got 2 out of 5. You can upgrade your capacity, though. And so I think the highest I've got mine up to is like 9 on a single run. Over here, we've got options and spells. We can get a railgun, or we can get flame breath. I've never seen flame breath before, and I've seen the railgun. That's just like a default attack, so I'm going to check out the flame breath. I've always fancied myself to be a little bit of a dungeon dragon. We'll Gary Gygax it up for a second here. I do like the sounds of collisions. I do like the sounds of the weapon. This game has an absolute banger of a soundtrack, too. I just want to give it up for a second to whoever designed the soundtrack to this game, because the music really has kind of like this dark house or like deep house vibe to it that's really, really good. It's got some serious knock and some serious throb to it. That in combination with sort of like the club deco thing that the game's got going on with the vaporwave graphics and the palette that they've chosen, it comes together very, very nicely. Whoever made this game has artistic taste, and they know how to identify a palette, and they know how to select sound effects, and they know how to have a soundtrack made, because that stuff is all done flawlessly. Flame Breath, a cone of burning hurt. That is actually rad as hell. I actually like that a lot. I may update that, and I may actually upgrade that and make that kind of like the hallmark of my playthrough. Oh yeah, the game also has this one gangster beat right here. It plays from time to time. It definitely reminds me of like the leading track off like a game album. Not like a video game album. You know the rapper The Game? That's what it sounds like to me. This definitely sounds like something The Game or like Jeezy would spit on. Over here we've got slippers. They make our character faster. Or we've got an upgrade shop. I don't have that much money, so I'm going to take the movement speed upgrade on my next room. All right, so let's get on in here and see what bad guys are waiting for us. We've got one little wormy boy over here. I want to hit him with the... Ooh, I can move while I fire the flamethrower? Oh my god. This may be my most favoritist attack that I have ever unlocked. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it does make for a really, really nice opening punch, especially if we, like, fan him with it a little bit, and then we hit him with the chain lightning right after. Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. That's going to be a really, really nice cooldown filler while I wait for my chain lightning to reload. I'm guessing we're going to be able to put some kind of, like, burning side effect on it or something else like that, too, and I think that's going to work out great. Now, I never really talked about the UI. In the top left-hand corner, it's all fairly self-explanatory. I've been struck. Lame. This game does drop a lot of healing, though, so it's not really that big of a deal when you take damage. There we go. We now move 50% faster. That'll be really, really nice for avoiding attacks. But anyways, we've got our health up here. Looks very, very nice. We've got our money up here. The clinks and jinglings of coins are all very, very nice as well. We've got our character portrait. It would be kind of cool if it was animated and she was, like, looking around and she did, like, a Doom Guy thing when she was lighting off attacks where she, like, scowls. Might be a nice little detail to add. Bottom right, we've got all of our relics, and all of our attacks are down here at the bottom, just in case you hadn't gleaned that yet. There's a frozen tear over there. I don't remember what that does. I think it gives us a chance to freeze enemies. And then there's a blessing slot upgrade. Since we've got a lot of blessings at the beginning of the game, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Because we're going to need more blessing slots, otherwise we're going to leave things behind. And as it stands right now, if you pick up an upgrade that you don't have space for, or anything else like that, it just sits on the ground. There's no way to recycle it into money or anything else. I do hope that they add that feature as time goes along, the ability to, like, sacrifice and get, like, $10 for something that you can't fit into your inventory. This guy's a little bit of a headache. He's going to make me bullet hell it up for a second, and I am not known for my skill at anything, let alone bullet helling. Now, we've got a little bit of cash right there. Go ahead and grab that because there's a shop after every boss. Even if we don't get a shop before then, we'll be able to spend money after we kill the first boss. And there's a little bit more cash. You love to see it. And there is our 2 blessing slots. Very nice. Over here, we can upgrade our Chain Lightning, and over here, we get an Ankh. The Ankh allows you to resurrect from death one time if you die. I haven't really had a whole lot of problems dying on normal difficulty, so I'm not going to stress about it. I find the game to actually be fairly easy. There's a good chance that I should probably be playing on hard. But, you know, I wanted to show off what most people are going to dive into first if they decide to purchase the game after watching this video. We'll go ahead and flamethrower you, throw out a little bit of lightning on the chain. That's the sound of the chalk showing up on a chain. Yay, yay. The power-ups do disappear in this game, so make sure you go grab them, like the monies and whatnot. They do despawn. I'm more of a fan of kind of like the Binding of Isaac style thing where they stay on the ground forever and you can come back and pick them up whenever you want. But since this game doesn't have like branching paths in the dungeon architecture like on the overall framework of the game, you wouldn't be able to come back anyway, so I'm assuming it's implemented like that to encourage the player to be aggressive and move around a lot. Your spells can upgrade in a number of different ways. And so we can take our lightning right here, and we can increase our rate of fire, we can increase the amount of jumps that it does, or we can make it slow our enemies on damage. I'll probably make it slow enemies on damage. I was hoping for a damage increase or a bullets increase so that we can fire it more times before we have to reload, but we didn't get that one. There are more upgrades to the spells than will come up when you pick up a spell upgrade, in case you were wondering. These boxes and crates over here are not destructible. You can, like, damage them and push them around, but I would like to see destructible environments, actually, like, that have the ability to be blown up and whatnot by errant spells and things of that nature. I think it would lend an immersive element to the game. We're at our first boss. Bosses in this game, not disappointing. They all have really, really cool art design, and they are somewhat challenging. You will have to figure out how to get around them and not get hit by them while you play the game. However, that being said, the bosses do not randomize. You get the same 3 bosses every time you play the game, in my experience so far. And so that can lead to a little bit of feeling kind of like a little bit of a repetitive nature there, I guess, in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and kind of like light this guy up. Lots and lots of HP on him, though, so there's no guarantee we're going to be dealing good damage here. Perfect. I do think it would be a really, really good idea for them to add more bosses that randomize. So I think like 4 to 5 that can happen on level 1, level 2, and level 3, sort of Binding of Isaac style, which I think is kind of like the hallmark for a game that has a lot of depth and a lot of things going on. And you've got to remember, when you release a game, you're competing against all the games of a similar type. I know people don't like to view it as a competition, but like it is. Whether you like it or not, it's just kind of the way that it goes. And so depending on the price point that you choose to sell at, it becomes a question of like, why would I buy this game over getting something that has like a lot more stuff in it? You know what I mean? And so anyways, getting your game up to par with kind of the kings of the roguelite genre would be a good place to start. Things like Binding of Isaac, things like, I think Undermine was one that I enjoyed tremendously. All of those kind of have like randomized bosses and whatnot in order to spruce things up and make the game feel good. I'm going to try to stay out of the way of some bullets here and stop being so aggressive. All my attacks require me to be really, really close up on this guy. And so anyways, barely dodged out of the way of that one. There we go. You going to reverse it on me? What's coming up next? What's happening here? You're going to reverse it on me. All right. We do have some tentacles or something that are kind of like bopping around. I'd rather the tentacles go away. Ow. I've been schlapped. Very, very nice. Sir, I would like for you to die real soon. The downside to the lightning shock, as I can tell right now, is that it does not deal hardly any damage at all. The other build that I had going on my last run, I dealt a lot more damage, and so it was much easier to stay in front of this guy and kill him before he killed me. Oh my god. Okay, almost ate it right there. That would have been bad. What's happening now? We got like a little counterclockwise spin going on. Oh my god. Okay, that almost ended us. Let's just finish this off nice and tight. We're going to get a little bit of healing when the tree goes down. I do like the death animations for the boss. I think they look pretty good. We will take that heal. We will not take barrier. This spell is lame and I don't like it. We could get berserk, but also that's kind of like a limited buff and I don't really care about it. So both of these offerings are not ideal. They're not things that I like. And so anyways, this would be a perfect situation where I'd really like it if you could hold down Q or something to break these items and get like 20 bucks a piece, basically. I think they sell in the shop for like 200. And so giving the player like 20 to 50 bucks for breaking an item that they don't necessarily want, I think would be a generous thing to do and open up the ability to buy more stuff for more builds. We've got the Unstable Rock. We fire projectiles whenever we get hit. We've also got the Spoiled Berry over here. We deal more damage based on the number of status effects that are on our enemies. So we'll get a 15% bonus if we've got them lined up with some freeze. What's our chance to freeze? I think in here, we can take a look at our spells and how upgraded they are. So we've got a 20% chill chance. That's pretty high. What does the health cost? 200. We're $1 short. Ain't that the way it always goes? I'll take the berry. That's fine. We can get some treasure or we can get some healing. I like to live life on the edge, so I'm going to take some treasure. All right? With our treasure, we will buy healing. That's my opinion. Let's go ahead and wipe out some enemies over here. I thought that money that got sucked into my body was a projectile, and I thought that I took damage right there. That would have been deeply upsetting. I'm trying not to take damage right now. That's actually the point of the game. Let's dial it on in, Splat. Let's make this thing happen. Would you like to see my flamethrower, sir? That's my Werfer right there, dude. I've got the magic Werfer, in case you were wondering. Oh, little bomb guys that explode. The enemy variety is pretty good, but the enemy varieties, I think there's like, I'm not exactly sure how many I've seen. There's little guys that explode. There's bats. There's summoners. There's fireball guys. There are a decent amount of enemies. I think the game could probably use like 3 or 4 more. But on that front, I think they're reasonably well covered. Let's see here. Let's wipe out some enemies. Mini-bosses, they seem to be suspiciously missing. I do think that mini-bosses that can add into fights, like at any moment, would be a really cool addition. The double-edged sword. Is there another door over here that I can go through? The ghost flower. I don't know what either of these do, but they're both relics. I guess I'll go for a sword. We are dungeon diving after all, so a sword seems like it might be an okay addition to our repertoire. We'll go ahead and take that. But yeah, no mini-bosses. It would be cool if there was procedural mini-bosses that got added into some of these level fights as well on like a baseline chance, and they had like a static loot table that dropped like 2 or 3 things that you can't get anywhere else that really help like define a run or whatever. That'd actually be, I think, a nice addition to the meta right there. This map has stairs on it. One thing about the game that I did notice is if you're using a weapon that is not chain lightning, so anything that fires a projectile, your character does not angle their arm when you're standing at the top of stairs to fire at things that are at the bottom of stairs. That makes stairs very, very dangerous because you basically can't hit enemies when you're at the top of the stairs and they're coming up the stairs. So don't fight near stairs if you can help it. Stairs are dangerous to your health, and they're going to allow the enemy to close with you in a way that you might not particularly enjoy. We're not getting any money right now because my piggy bank is full. There are relics that allow you to carry more money, in case you were wondering. We have not found any of those relics just yet, so unfortunately we've just got to live with the fact that there is a hard cap on our earnings right now. I assume that some kind of dungeon governance is taking the remainder from us. You know how it goes. Everybody's got to pay taxes in April. That's life. We'll go ahead and knock that out real fast. Double-edged sword. Increased damage done and damage taken by double. Ooh, we are kind of light on damage. This is going to require me to perform, though. But since, like, I haven't found the game to be that difficult, maybe that'll ramp it up a little bit. We definitely want to go to the shop because we're full up on money right now and we're wasting resources. So let's see what we can buy. And in fact, haste increases with lower HP. We've got an upgrade to our lightning. I will take that. Increase the number of charges. That's what I want. I want 3 zaps. And then we can upgrade our fire breath as well. Let's make our fire breath deal more damage. That sounds good because honestly, I feel like the duration is actually fairly generous on this guy. If we can pick up another chain lightning upgrade, game, you're speaking my language right now. I see what's happening here. You're being nice to me. What are you going to want? Oh, yeah, we deal a lot more damage now. Good lord, between that and the sword upgrade, we are kind of one-shotting everything. Except for that guy. That guy is kind of chonky. Damn, we did 1,000 damage right there? That actively surprises me. We'll go ahead and light these dudes up. We got those dudes right there. We'll let them detonate, make a little bit of cash. The good news is the chain lightning does actually shoot up and down stairs, which is pretty cool. But the burst rifle and the machine gun did not. Fired over the top of all the enemies' heads. So I'm hoping that's one of those things that gets patched as time goes along. I'm just going to kind of stay in my lane right here. We seem to be doing a real good job at wrecking enemies. Our build seems to be coming together. Things seem to be... The lining seems to be silver right now. One thing that I wish I could alpha. You can't fire multiple spells at the same time. I've been playing a lot of Mech Warrior, and in Mech Warrior, the term for firing all your weapons at once is called an alpha. And so anyways, I wish I could alpha in this game and fire all my weapons. We can get more chains. Our recharge time could be faster. Or we can get more damage when it jumps deeper into a chain. I think the jumps is a good idea, so that's what I'm going to do. We got a Flame Breath upgrade over here, and on this side, we've got a Dash upgrade. Dash upgrade might not be a bad idea, actually, because having multiple dashes can be really helpful with some of the later bosses. We got one of them coming up right now, and I think having a double dash, or at least a longer dash, might help us a little bit. Might make us a tiny bit safer, although our build is pretty strong right now, and so we may get carried by that. Zap those dudes right on spawn. Light those dudes up. There we go. Looking nice. That guy's going to summon more enemies, but it's not really going to matter because we've got an AoE main attack. Flamethrower him down a little bit. Maybe introduce you to the Werfer. Very, very nice. Perfect. Looks good. We've only got one wave left. I'm going to try not to take any damage because remember, all damage we take right now is doubled. So that could end up stinging real bad. We can get a shorter cooldown on our dash. That's exactly what I was looking for. Our dash is actually much more rapid right now. 30% faster recharge. That looks pretty nice to me. I may take one more dash upgrade, but we'll see. We'll see how it comes together. If I could get another charge on my Chain Lightning, I'd be happy with that as well. Here we're fighting a ghost. This guy hits like a truck. And so this may be the point at which I really, really regret putting a lot of points into that katana. Okay, looking good, looking good, looking good. He's going to split in just a second, and we're going to have to fight multiples of him simultaneously that all do equally nasty things that I don't want to deal with. But the good news is all damage is suffered equally between the clones, so this may actually help us kill him faster. Oh boy. Okay. Things are getting a little bit hot here. Oh, he's forcing me to go towards his buddy over here. I don't want to go towards your buddy. I want to be on my own. And now we've got 3. I'm really, really, really lucky that that was clockwise and not counterclockwise. If it was counterclockwise, that would have been a mess. All right, so we've got Black Hole. Fire a slowly moving black hole that sucks enemies in and damages them. Sounds awesome. Add it to the pile. That did and looked almost exactly how I expected it to look. And then over here, the Fanged Matchbook. Do more damage to burning enemies. I don't think I have any burn effects right now. Oh, I gotta close this down. It stays open when you're inside the menu. That's another little UI gore thing that needs to be looked at. Oh, apparently I can sell spells, and I can move them around. I didn't even see that right there. Damn! Okay, well now I look like a big old idiot. I gotta go back and edit stuff. Still, I never noticed that I could sell from right here. Cool. Alright, well, fair enough then. I complained about a thing that actually exists, and I never moused over these down here to actually find out. We don't have anything that inflicts burning. So, can I sell my relics? Oh my god, I can sell my relics. Now I've got to make an edit because I've complained about that like twice now in the video. You're going to come into this part and be like, why is he talking about this like he said something stupid? And I'm going to be like, well, I spent an entire chunk of time saying that I wished I could sell stuff when I was moused over it right here, and now I've learned that I can do it from my inventory. Womp, womp, womp. Editing, the power thereof. All right, so the Fanged Matchbook, we don't have any burning, so, like, I'll take it, but I'm just going to sell it. We could actually sell that guy, too, just to get rid of some of the damage we're taking. It's possible. If I pick up burning after this, after I got rid of that matchbook, I'm going to be big upsetty, spaghetti, never forgetty. All right, so what do you got in the shop for me? We can increase our max gold, we can get a dash upgrade, or we can upgrade Black Hole. I'll take the dash upgrade. I'm going to make the dash take me further. That sounds good. A root potion, I don't really want. What the root potion does is if you can hold still for like 5 seconds in combat, it heals you. But this is a pretty mobile game, and I've found that standing still does not work for me. There might be an interesting synergy right there with the barrier spell, though. You could actually set up barriers so the enemy can't get to you and then heal on every single map. I'll take it and sell it. We're almost at full health anyways. And there's the full heal right there, so we definitely didn't need that other room. Black hole? I mean, it looks like that's definitely going to annoy the enemy into submission, if nothing else. It basically keeps one of the spawns off your neck, which is pretty cool. Like, I want to use the flamethrower more, but we're dealing so much damage right now with our overall chain lightning that it's like, why bother? Chain lightning's kind of like giving us the hard carry at the moment. Like, we're hitting hard, real hard. I want that money. I don't want to be poor any longer because there's probably going to be another shop that comes up, and I would like to have a little bit of actual financial security for when that eventually happens. All right, so there's our root potion. I'm going to go ahead and take it, but we're instantly going to sell that bad boy. I'm just like, I'm apprehensive right now because... Ooh, 3 upgrades. Chain Lightning, Life, and Dash. I'm uploading yet another video to the internet where I've made a fool of myself. 2 hours, and I didn't notice that those buttons were there. Although they're not, like, super hidden. They are still nestled away. I would like the ability to sell stuff from the ground, basically, where it drops just by holding down Q or something. Now, let's see here. Yeah, it seems like a good opportunity to maybe black hole some cats. I don't know if the black hole actively deals any damage or anything. It seems like it just sort of... Oh, no, it killed something back there. It murdered something, so that's good to know. Oh, yeah, it does do like a little smattering of damage. It's not too bad. I actually like the crowd control on it, too. I wonder if it'll stop when I throw it at a boss. If it stops and it sits on a boss's face when I shoot it out, that'd be really nice, actually. Dash away from that. Oh, he's still shooting at me even though he's getting drawn into the event horizon. Look at you. Look at you over here being a go-getter. Look at you being excessively talented. I don't know if I could fire while under the effects of spaghettification, but you know what? I'm proud of you for trying it. You've shown more acumen than I could. All right, let's fire that off over there. We got a couple of coins. This is a really long level. I get the feeling that the levels that give you a lot of relics all at once are like 3 times as long as the other levels. But it does seem to behoove you to take those levels whenever they come up, because 3 relics is just like game-changing. Like, you get so many good things from 3 upgrades versus the normal 1 that you get out of a room. So yeah, my closing thoughts about this game, because we're getting kind of towards the 25-minute mark. In my opinion, the vast majority of the bits are in the right place with Lone Ruin. It's a bit short in duration. I think that's going to be the main thing. Like, I think I beat the game 2 or 3 times, which was like an hour and a half to 2 hours of gameplay. There are still random items I'm finding on runs here and there that I haven't seen before, and spells. But I think without a meta-progressive element, that is like currency to spend building up a camp or something in between runs that buffs you up and unlocks new enemies and new tile sets and stuff like that, secrets, some of the more immersive Binding of Isaac style or Undermine elements that really sucked me in, I probably wouldn't hold my attention for more than 5 or 6 runs. Each run is probably going to be around 30 minutes, so for me, I think I would extrapolate that out that it held my attention sans endless horde mode for about 3 or 4 hours. That having been said, everything else about this game is done very well in my opinion. The spells and the movement, they felt good to me. The dodge, it felt really good. In fact, it felt overly fair. Like, sometimes I felt like the dodge gave me a pass when I definitely should have taken a hit. And so anyways, the dodge is actually quite nice. The item design seems to have some interesting synergies built in there. And you won't see every item and upgrade on every single run. So there is a reason to play back through more times just to see if you can find some new spells, some new attacks, stuff like that. The soundtrack is great. The sound effects are really well selected. The art design is top tier, and I really like the color palette that they use too. I think if the game continues to be supported and get further like 1.1, 1.2 content, adding stuff like meta progression, secret walls, and, you know, secret paths and like decisions the player makes that lead to alternate sort of like heaven or hell decisions like in The Binding of Isaac, mini bosses that show up randomly, a bit more enemy variety, more tile sets to fight on top of. I think I'd definitely be interested in playing the game further. For now, it feels like in my 3 or 4 hours I got what was there to get in Lone Ruin on normal difficulty, but here's hoping they add more stuff to it, because honestly I think they've got a really good foundation right now. Like, all the fundamental core mechanics are good, and so they've got a really, really good platform to keep building on top of, and I do hope that they do. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were checking out Lone Ruin. Tomorrow we'll be checking out something else. Thank you for giving me the luxury of your attention. I'll be back tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet. Bye, folks.